A woman told me a story about her elderly father. It was early in the war, and they were in their Biafran hometown, feeling relatively safe because the war seemed far away. Then suddenly they heard the loud, terrifying sounds of bombing very close to them, and they knew that they had only minutes to leave their home and run into the interior for safety before the Nigerian soldiers arrived. The elderly father was a wealthy man, but the only thing he rushed to take with him was his ikenga, a piece of wood, a beautifully carved piece of wood. But it wasn't just a piece of wood. It was also the repository of spiritual meaning. The ikenga represented his chi, his personal spirit, as well as his ancestors, his guardian angels.
It's all about humanity.
I spoke to the Culture Secretary, Oliver Dowden, and I began by asking him whether he thought the stolen Benin bronzes should be owned by Nigeria.
Well, I think that they properly reside in the British Museum. Now, that doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't work with the government in Nigeria to see how we can share it with them.
Forgive me, and I understand sharing, but they were stolen. Do you not think that they should be owned by the people that they were stolen from in the first place?
Well, I think that the problem with this, and of course, if we go back to things that happened in the 19th century and judge them by our values of today, it's completely unacceptable. But my concern about this is, where do you actually draw the line with this? The collections of our great national institutions have been developed over many, many centuries, in many times in questionable circumstances. I think the question now is about what we do with these. I love the Benin bronzes. I've seen them many times throughout my life, and I think them being in the British Museum, which is a world repository of heritage, allows people to see it, but that doesn't stop us from sharing it.
This is central to the story that Europe tells itself about its colonial history. It is a story that basically says, yes, colonialism happened, but. And whatever comes after the but is the focus of the story. What the focus on the but does is that it absolves. It frees Europe of responsibility, of a significant and traceable connection to the African present, and it allows Europe the glow of charity. We cannot pick and choose which histories and which points of view still matter, because to do this would be an ugly exercise of brute power. All countries have parts of their pasts that they're not proud of, that they would rather forget. But it takes courage to face those parts and bring in some light. And this is a time for courage.
Okay, but ownership is key, right?
Yeah.
And the Nigerians say that if, when they get them back, they would almost certainly be happy to loan them back to you. But the fundamental problem is that they were stolen from the Nigerians and they want to own them.
I completely accept that they were acquired at a time of rampant colonial expansion in Africa, in circumstances that I'm not in any way going to sort of defend or condemn with the values of the 21st century. I think, though, the more important question is how we ensure that the world can enjoy this marvelous heritage.
And so it seems to me that what we are fundamentally grappling with in this space, in all of these questions about the Humboldt Forum, is power. Unequal power, how we navigate unequal power relations. There are ikengas in various museums all over the world today, and it is easy to forget as we stare and admire them behind cold and clinical glass barriers that these are objects that are religious, spiritual, sacred. Art lives in history, and history lives in art. Much of what we call African art are also documents that tell stories.
a letter will soon be sent, mandated under international law by the Nigerian government, to the British Museum, formally requesting return. You and I know that that would also require laws, the Heritage Act and the British Museum Act, to be revoked or at least amended. Is that a realistic prospect?
No, we have no plans for doing that.
When we talk about this art that was stolen, we're told that they cannot be returned to Africa, for example, because Africans will not take good care of them. It is not merely condescending to say, I cannot return what I stole from you because you will not take good care of it. It is also lacking in basic logic. Since when has the basis of ownership been taking good care of what is owned? This position is paternalistic arrogance of the most stunning sort. The brilliant Nigerian artist Victor Hikameno put it much better than I could, and in very Nigerian terms. He says, if I come and steal your wrapper, and I say I won't give you back your wrapper because you will not tie it properly around your waist, or you will not wash it well, and so the colors will fade, or this or that, all are irrelevant. The wrapper is mine, and I can do with it what I will. Give me back my wrapper because it is mine. The metaphorical wrapper, for those of you who are befuddled by wrapper, it's a piece of cloth, should be returned for the reason that a Hikameno illustrates, which is respecting the property of others, but also because Europe has defined itself as a place of certain values: progress, liberty, fraternity, tolerance, individual rights, and most of all, the rule of law. A nation that believes in the rule of law cannot possibly be debating whether to return stolen goods. It just returns them. And so if the dignity of those from whom the art was stolen does not matter, then surely this idea should matter, that Europe should be what it claims to be. Live up to the ideals with which you define yourself.